Well, here I am at the parking lot slipping my size 8.5 feet into a snowshoe as I prepare for my wild weekend with Winter. Let's go meet the group. That's Dave. He's our team leader. He's done this sort of thing many times before. And that's Ian, who wisely packed a big lunch for the trip in, and Yuki, his wife.
So we're winter camping, and I've never done this before. Can you promise me that we will not freeze?
I promise you we won't freeze. We have the best gear, we have good people with us, and we're not that far from the car.
Off we go. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, Michael is also coming along to see for himself if this city girl can cut it in the backwoods. It wasn't long before we hit our first downhill, and while some took it cautiously, I had a better idea. Luckily, the rest of the route is pretty much flat as we venture across a frozen lake, Long Lake to be precise.
A big hump over there is a beaver house.
Really?
Yeah, and as we get closer, sometimes you have to stay a little bit away from them because the beavers will keep the ice a little bit thinner.
How often do you go winter camping?
I try to get out at least 2 or 3 times a month. I love the winter. I love winter camping.
Whoa, looks like I'm beating you. Where are we setting up camp?
We're just going to go over by the base of that large pine tree there. There's a bit of a hill. We'll put the tents up on top of the hill.
And get warm and snuggled up.
Warm and snuggled up and wait for the coyotes to start howling.
Dave also told me that it's warmer if you get up into the trees and out of the flow of cold air, traveling through the valleys and down the lake.
Here's our spot for the cook shelter, and you're standing on the prime tent site right there.
I'm ready to shovel.
Well, the base is shoveled out. Time to set up the tent. Today's tents are amazingly quick to set up, even in the snow, and especially when you have a little help from your friends. Look at me now, bare hands in the snow. I guess this city girl's not such a softie after all.
And again, you don't need the bug net in the way.
Bugs! There's no bugs in winter. I didn't think of that. That could be the best part about winter camping.
You're home for the night.
Nice and cozy.
Okay, there's a good looking log right there. Want to be careful not to cut any live trees.
I learned that for winter camping, a lightweight saw is a must-have.
That was quick.
Oh yeah, it cuts very nicely. That'll burn really nicely.
So is this what we found sufficient enough, or should we continue? And
This would last about 10 minutes.
Oh,
We're going to have the fire going for 7 hours.
that's right. Jeez. 10 minutes. We've got the wood for a fire. We're taking it back to our campsite. We're gonna cut it up and then hopefully it'll burn.
Wow, that green coat I borrowed from Dave makes me look as big as a house. And here I am making drinking water. We'll also use some of this later for cooking, and everyone's favorite, doing the dishes. Meanwhile, Dave continues with his logging operation.
You can never have too much firewood.
I boiled this water, so now I'm gonna try it and see how good it tastes. So good.
So, Elma, talk a little bit about that trek we came across, I guess about 2 kilometers on a frozen lake, pulling the sled. That's quite an interesting mode of transportation on snowshoes.
I've been snowshoeing before, but on a frozen lake, I was a little bit weary about it. And like we were talking about earlier, it's really interesting how peaceful you can feel and how much serenity you can feel just walking there on a frozen lake.
Dinner is served. Michael pre-made the meat sauce at home using deer meat and a little red wine to give it a kick. It's amazing how good food tastes in the outdoors. Ah, this is my favorite part of camping, the campfire. And one thing that goes really well with a warm fire is sneaking in a little chocolate.
The fire was amazing. It made me feel like I was, I don't know, in the middle of summertime because it was so warm. My first day was really fun. I am tuckered. I'm gonna call it a night. Hopefully I'll be nice and warm in the morning and I'll see you all in the morning.
It's morning! And I made it through the night. I slept very comfortably, very cozy in my lovely warm sleeping bag. The thermo mattress under my sleeping bag kept me super warm. Thing that I'm most proud of was using the bathroom in the middle of the night, because I put my little headlamp on and I went out into the bushes all by myself in the middle of the night and I did my business. Good morning, fellow campers.
Good morning.
How did you sleep?
Awesome.
Oh, did you hear the coyote?
I heard some coyotes, yeah.
No, that's crazy.
That's the first time I heard them out while camping. Dave, can you tell us a little bit about some of the essentials for winter campings?
There's certainly a lot of equipment that you have to have. And the first time I ever went winter camping, I didn't take a shovel, which is a big mistake. You have to have a shovel. If you're going to have a fire, it's nice to take a small saw or an axe. And then your personal equipment, the clothing that you take, it's really essential that you try to have something that you just don't get cold.
And how do we avoid hypothermia? How do we deal with that when that happens?
That's a really important question in the winter, because hypothermia, they call it the silent killer, right? Because it just kind of sneaks up on you and you don't even know you're becoming hypothermic. If you see another person and they're starting to make bad decisions, starting to even slur their words, or their thinking seems a little bit muddled, you might ask them if they're cold, and if they are, get them warmed up really quickly.
Snow and being in the minuses doesn't have to mean you have to stay inside and watch movies and be afraid of going outdoors.
Exactly. I love getting out in the winter.
I like that I embraced it. I really enjoyed it. And I stayed warm the entire time. Winter camping is all about making memories, and that's just what we did. We weathered the snow, the cold, and made some pretty new friends. And remember Dave's famous words, when it comes to winter camping, you can never have too much firewood.